There's a fish. You can tell the way that guy was swimming. That is a crappie. It sure is feeling like a crappie. Oh, that feels good to feel that tug again. There we go. Oh, I got a double header, do I? And I'm missing a lot of fish there as soon as I switched. Excellent. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this cold weather creek crappie fishing adventure. I'm Corey. If you're new to the channel, welcome here. If you like what you see today, I hope you'll subscribe and make some comments. I love reading your comments. But this is an inner city creek, and there's a section here that's fairly long and deep. When I say deep, that's a relative term. We're going to be catching fish in, I'd say, 2.5 to 4 feet of water today. Probably the deepest section in here is maybe only 5 feet, but we've been really cold. We've been well below freezing for a couple weeks now at nights. We had a warm up the last couple days. Yesterday I actually came by here and I waded across that bank, which we're going to fish this whole section here, and I broke up a bunch of big sheets of ice along there and kicked them out. So today is 42, which is warm for how it's been. I think tomorrow it might get to 45, and then tomorrow afternoon, evening, a lot of rain and snow mix, and then the bottom just falls out after that with cold and snow. So I think slow presentations, tiny baits are going to be key. So let me show you what we're going to use today. All right, this setup here, I've got a Shakespeare reel, 2-pound line, and this is a Shimano ultralight rod that I got on clearance for $20 the other day. Excited to try that. These little clip-on bobbers, which I love, they're weighted, so it helps you get out there. It gives you some casting distance, but it doesn't spook fish. On this one, I've got a trout magnet head and a purple Nico pintail. On my other rod, here's how I got it set up. I've got a little fluger reel with 4-pound line, and this is a 7'2" Shakespeare ultralight rod. And I got this one, this is a double jig setup. So on the bottom, I've got a little mule. That's a tiny little mule minnow. These work great. And about 14 inches up, I've got a fly, a bimbo skunk fly. And I catch a lot of fish on these and smaller ones. This is the 52nd ounce size. And then I've just got a traditional, a weighted spring bobber on there. These cast really far, but sometimes that'll actually spook fish. So we'll see how that does today. So we'll start with this single bait with the Nico pintail. This may be one of my favorite fishing spots in the world. I have so many years of memories here. It just is wonderful to have a place close to home that is your go-to. There, now we're about 2 feet down. That's a great spot right there. Okay, they didn't seem interested in the purple, so we'll work this area now with this double jig setup. This long pool gets shallow towards this end, and then this is like the end of the pool. So the tail ends and the beginnings of long pools, you'll often hear me say, are really good places to fish. So let's try this white setup with the darker fly above it. Oh, I can cast a little further than I realized with this setup. There's a fish. You can tell the way that guy was swimming. That is a crappie. It sure is feeling like a crappie. Oh, that feels good to feel that tug again. Yeah, it does. Oh, and it's good to know they're here. He went for that little white mule, and he swam with it for a little while. Oh boy, I'm gonna be real tempted to keep fish this size, but I'm not gonna. That's just a hair too small for us here today. Thank you, bud. Okay, off he goes. to swim another day. Oh man, that felt really good. That felt really good to catch a fish. It's been a long time. I've been busy deer hunting. I haven't had time for fishing. I love fishing with the fly on a double jig setup as the upper bait because they're light, and flies are not just for trout. I catch a lot of fish. You wouldn't believe the size of catfish. I caught about a 15-pound flathead last spring on a fly just like the one I showed you. Catch a ton of crappie and bluegill and all manner of fish on them. So sometimes it's just the thing. If they don't want the bottom bait, they'll snack on that little upper morsel, you know. Fish number 2. We'll see what we got here. I think it's a crappie again, the way he's fighting. You know, it's rare I catch an 11-inch crappie here. This one might be a little bit thicker actually. You know, you all might laugh at me, but there's a lot of crappie in here smaller than this. This one's just a touch longer than that other one. I'm gonna put this one on the stringer. I'm gonna do it. Now what I'll do is just punch a hole in his lower lip here in the soft tissue, so that if for some reason we just don't catch any more, which I just don't see that happening. I think we're gonna leave here with 8 or 10 or maybe 15 fish. I can let this fish go because I'm not going through his gills. You know, white can be a hit and miss color for me. Sometimes you just can't beat white in terms of a natural presentation. Other times it's not so productive. But you know, if it's working today. That seems to be the color they want. White with a kind of pinkish orange head on there. That's definitely getting their attention. Miles from here, I primarily fish this creek for smallmouth, but this particular spot is just a panfish magnet. Did a lot of bow hunting in these this year. Now we're switching to fishing. Switching to fishing. I like these narrow, upright, weighted spring bobbers. They've got a narrow profile, so the fish take them down quite easily. They feel very little resistance. This little fluger eel, I'll tell you, it's just smooth like butter. Really like, I've had a couple fluger eels now. I really like them. But this with 4-pound line has been a really good little panfish setup for me. This creek's down about a foot from where it typically is. So it really helps concentrate the fish, you know. Oh, some of that ice has formed back already that I broke up yesterday. Yeah, a bunch of it has. Oh, that might have been a fish right there. I think I may have just had a fish. Yep, I sure did. I sure did. Had 2. I want to catch one on this new Shimano rod here. Yeah, they're just barely swimming with it, sure enough. Who knows, that may have been the same guy messing with me before. It's a black crappie here, not a bad one. For this creek, we're going to call that a keeper. Ah, pretty little fish. Pretty little guy. We'll get a picture of that. All right, those are actually both black crappie on the stringer. Let's see if there's another fish willing to play here by this structure. On this 2-pound line, on this nice little Shimano ultralight. So even though it's very cold and the fish's metabolism has slowed way down, they're going to be feeding today even though the bite is light, because the weather that's coming over the next couple days is going to get very frigid, and that looks like it's going to be with us for a good long while. So You know, these fish know something's coming and they got to eat while they can. There we go. That one took it in while I was reeling it in. That's a little guy. We're definitely going to let this guy go. Now that is a white crappie. Is it? Or is it a black? You know, I think that's a white. I think that's a white. We're at 4 fish. That's, you can't beat that on a weekday afternoon. Seems like the bite was a little more aggressive on the white. I'll probably go back to that here in a bit. But I think the point, oh, I just missed a bite right there. I sure did. The point is, I think small baits in conditions like this are really important. And I fish with baits way smaller than I used to think was even feasible. Don't be afraid to fish with small baits. You'll typically catch a lot more fish. Sometimes you won't catch the big fish, but sometimes you will. And it's just hard to beat small baits. And by small, you know, 32nd ounce typically is too big. I'm usually talking stuff like 52nd, 64th ounce, 1/80th ounce. I think Panfish Magnet even just came out with a little 100th ounce head, which are very small, but I've done very well on those. I'll tell you the other thing, I think a lot of guys think you have to use minnows for crappie. A lot of times I'll outfish, oh, I missed one. With artificials, I'll outfish minnows. It's rare that I feel like, oh man, I wish I had minnows. You just don't need them. And they're a pain to have to, you know, deal with. You got to keep them alive and you got to thread them on, and it's a lot of work. All right, let's go back to this other setup that was doing so well for us before. There we go. Oh, I got a double header. Do I? What do I have? No, that one was just kind of fighting funny. That's a decent one. Huh. That one came in all, his body was doing weird things. Oh boy. Sometimes they just do weird things. Hey, they're liking the white though. I'm definitely feeling, I don't know, maybe it's winter, they're thinking about snow. But white's getting it done. And is it the white or is it that little pinkish orange head? I don't know. But those little mini mule minnows or whatever they're called, those are really good. They're like Nico baits. They're really kind of indestructible, and I like them a lot. We've just been doing so good right here. Folks, I'd say we found the fish. Guess what we found here? A new species. This guy is sadly a little too tiny, but these yellow bass eat real good, and they're pesky little critters too. They fight real good. Get into them any bigger than that, we'll definitely be putting them on that stringer. I guarantee it. Well, the bites died. We're gonna try these little Berkeley power baits, otherwise known as crappie nibbles by some, and see if that might convince these fish to play a little better. If I can't get 2 more on the stringer, I'll let these ones go. That's the nice thing about going through the bottom lip. Other than poking a little hole in that soft stuff, you don't mess with their gills and they can swim off and be okay. Yeah, sure enough, I saw that one. I even saw him swimming with it. He wants it. Why is he not taking it? I even saw that fish. Oh, Missed another one. Missed another one. Yeah, really easy to miss hook sets with these shorter rods. A lot of fun catching fish on them, but you don't have the same leverage you do when you got a 6.5 or 7.5 or even 8-foot pole. There, as soon as I switched. Excellent. I was sure that was a fish. So I thought I was the smartest guy in the room for a minute there. Oh boy. Well, I'm cold. I just snapped my line off. Trying to adjust my bobber, 2-pound line. What are you gonna do? We had fun. My other rod's messed up. I'm way too cold to retie, so we did all right. The fish are definitely here. The bite just got really hard at the end. But remember, bad days fishing ain't a bad day. And get out, throw some really tiny baits, and you'll be surprised how well you can do on crappie and all sorts of other fish. See you again.